Hey guys, welcome back to my Wedding on Wheels series, where I walk through my experiences in wedding planning from a wheelchair user's perspective. It happened. I got married. In this video, I'm going to be telling you guys about the wedding details. Looking back at the wedding, it seemed like all my months and months of planning just flew by in one tiny block of hours. Seconds actually, just a whirlwind going past you. My husband and I were being told where to go, what to do next, how to pose. But we were happy. It wasn't like being pulled in every direction at all times was bad. Instead, it was all of my planning. What had seemed like endless planning, they were executed because of me. Every decision my husband and I had made every decision I had made. Because let's be honest, some guys just say I don't care. To wedding details. And this was my husband. Anyway, everything was executed because of the planning. Everyone had a job and they knew what I wanted. And they did it. I had little minions out there making our wedding memorable. For my husband and I, for our guests. And like I said, he and I could just be in the moment. Whirlwind or not. We were happy. So let's go over details that made the wedding perfection. Our wedding had a lot of Irish influences. My husband is very into Irish culture, as his heritage is Irish. There were tons of greenery, mixed with my wedding colors. The men wore bow ties and suspenders. I tried to incorporate my husband's Irish heritage into the wedding with lots of greenery, bagpipes, and booze. Because as he proudly boasts, what's Irish heritage without the whiskey? Cross and Main was our venue. To watch more about why I chose this venue, click at the top. Cross and Main was like our ground zero for the wedding. The setting created by the venue influenced all the other day details in the wedding. I could not begin to explain how helpful the event manager was at Cross and Main. She was my go-to girl when planning any details in respect to actual wedding. In my freak-out moments, where I thought I forgot a huge detail, I could email her, and she always had a solution. Sometimes the solution was to calm me down and tell me what has worked in the past with other weddings. So the event manager at Cross and Main often served as a counselor/problem solver. It was a useful benefit having someone who took time to see my vision for the wedding, and someone who knew the best inner workings of the venue. Our caterer was Rocky Top Catering Company. Their food is exquisite. It is unlike most foods at a wedding. Sometimes meats can be dry or side dishes can be bland. Not at Rocky Top Catering. Prior to the wedding, they invited us to open house events. These events allowed us to try every bit of their gigantic menu selection. Let me tell you, we came out of their events and didn't eat for days. So yeah, they had wooed us. There was no question about who would cater our wedding. Next we had Sweetwater Ices. This company was the icing on top of our wedding. Definitely not the icing on top of the cake. Because the cake deserves its own moment to shine, which I will get to in a few minutes. So, Sweetwater Ices comes to your wedding for an hour and serves Italian ice to you and your guests. What they serve is real homemade Italian ice, the kind from New York, not the store-bought frozen stuff that is probably packed with preservatives. Sweetwater Ices also offers a presentation at your wedding. They don't only serve scrumptious Italian ice, they come in character. The server comes dressed in 1950s attire with a bow tie alongside a vintage cart. This spectacle really fit into our wedding theme, with the casual and vintage look that the groom and groomsmen had going on. My absolute favorite flavor they offer was raspberry topped with peanut butter, Italian ice. These flavors taste exactly like a PB&J in a cup. Sweetwater Ices really gave our guests a memorable gift to enjoy at our wedding. Our florist was Brandi's Botanicals. I chose to go with lots of greenery to tie in the Irish theme. I specifically used these greenery, called the Bells of Ireland. Unlike whispery greenery, Bells of Ireland has tiny balls on them. I had to put a lot of thought and consideration into how I would hold my bouquet. I do not have the fine motor skills to hold a bouquet in front of me. And I did want to have my bouquet in front of me as I walked down the aisle. I decided on placing my bouquet inside this handy-dandy hole on my armrest. And it worked perfectly. As for our DJ, we went with someone we knew. DJs and musical choices are another factors that can make or break your wedding. We had Taylor Archer's DJ services. He did our music for both the ceremony and reception. I was unaware of the pre-work that DJs have to do. Our DJ had a questionnaire for us to fill out. It asked the song choice for each part of the ceremony. It makes sense though. I mean, one wrong button pushed, and you could be walking down the aisle to this. A total wedding fail. I am most grateful to our photographer for their contributions to preserving our wedding. We used less Atkins Photography for our engagement pictures, bridal portrait and wedding day. When I first explored photographers for the pictures, I was taken aback by the expense. It seemed pricey, overly pricey, and some companies more than others. We chose Les for our engagement pictures shoot. He was someone I knew previously and gave us a good rate. The pictures were gorgeous, and my fiancé at the time and I were very comfortable with him. Since he worked with us on the engagement pictures, I knew he would not be hesitant to tell me if my head or arm was in the wrong position for fear of offending me. For example, my only experience with photographers in the past was underpaid, overworked photographers for grade school yearbooks. I never had a good yearbook picture. With my cerebral palsy, muscle calmness is not a luxury, especially under pressuring circumstances. Every time I would go to take my school pictures, the photographer would not give me a moment to calm my muscles, or they were reluctant to give me directions in case it was something I couldn't help. Needless to say, I had stank face in grade school yearbooks every single year, and this was not cool, especially in middle school and high school, where everyone is so insecure about their appearance. So yeah, that communication was precious to me. I advise anyone planning a wedding, do not skimp on paying for a photographer. Always go with a professional, if possible. The level of skill that photographers possess, compared to an untrained eye, is priceless. Experienced photographers see photo ops that I could never see. For example, during my bridal portrait photo shoot, Les told me be parallel to a table. The table came up to my mid-arm so only my shoulders and head were visible. I can remember thinking to myself, how is this going to look good? I mean, bridal portraits are supposed to parade your entire bridal persona, so this view was intriguing, because I did not see what he was picturing. This picture is one of my absolute favorites. Isn't it extraordinary? Again, I will say, choose a well-experienced, professional photographer. You will be glad you did. The parts of the wedding that I missed, I could experience through pictures. A good wedding photographer will capture everything. And now I have my wedding experience for a keepsake. Lastly, but definitely not leastly, I want to mention the cake. We were lucky in the cake department. I have a cousin who owns a cupcake business. These cupcakes are cupcake wars ready. Seriously, once you try one of her cupcakes, no other cake can ever compare. I chose to do a tiered cake combination. The top tier was a sheet cake, that way my husband and I would have one to slice into at the reception. We chose 4 flavors for the cupcakes: banana pudding, chocolate-covered strawberry, triple threat, which is an Oreo inside, a chocolate cupcake, covered with chocolate fudge. In other words, no taste buds could be bored at our wedding. The traditional cutting of the cake had to be adapted. Because of my unpredictable movements due to my cerebral palsy, I wasn't willing to slice into my new husband on our wedding day by helping him cut the cake. Blood would not look good on my dress. Laugh out loud. So he did the cake cutting, with me at his side. So guys, that is a synopsis of all my vendors whom helped make this day beautiful for us. As I mentioned previously, I have a sense of pride in knowing that I had control, and my will was visible in every detail of the wedding. Having a disability, I can sometimes feel like my will, or input, is underestimated. I will be going into more detail about this in future videos, but for now, it was just a gratifying feeling to see everything play out the way you planned it. And of course, as every bride hopes for, no major disaster happened at our wedding. I hope you have enjoyed all the pictures. Please visit the vendors' websites. You can click on them in the video, and I will put them on the description box below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you can check out future videos. Next time on Wedding on Wheels, I will be talking about the days surrounding the wedding and what married life has been like so far.